very special edition of Hey Qween One-on-One, because it's DragCon weekend here, and this time when you're seeing this, it'll have already happened and been wonderful, girly gag. But right now, it's DragCon weekend in Los Angeles, and we are lucky enough to have one of the most notable queens in all of Australia here, the name of which has been an obsession for months. Oh my God! That's what I get for too much excitement. Her name, which has been an obsession for Drag Race queens for the last year or so. Yes, honey, I'm talking about Karen from Finance. Hello, sweetie.
Hey, Queen.
Hey, Queen.
How you doing? So good to be here, finally.
I know. It is great to see you in the flesh.
Yeah, it's good to be here. I'm so excited. My goodness, it's my first time touring to the States.
Right.
The clubs here are crazy.
You performed at the Abbey last night?
Yeah, we were at the Abbey last night. I didn't know what to expect, and it's huge, and everyone is out of control, and it was a Wednesday, and I lived. It was perfect.
That is good.
Yeah.
And you're also going to be performing after DragCon.
Yeah, we're doing a closing party at Redline downtown on Sunday night. Huge. Apparently last year, one of the queens that was performing did a backflip and pulled down the back curtain. So the antics and the expectations are pretty high for this year.
Are you going to burn the place to the ground?
I'm hoping so.
Yes.
I'm going to step it up one.
Yes, Karen. All right, let's start with the most important thing.
Okay.
Your name has been an obsession for Trixie, Katya, everyone who's heard it, gagged, lived, slit their own throat, threw himself in the river, put themselves in a body bag, and then came back to life when they read your name again.
Yeah, I've been responsible for many deaths.
Now, what is the origin of this amazing name?
Okay, so years and years and years ago, we were going to a house party back home, and we were in the thrift store early on, and we picked out some really gaudy old 80s prom dresses that we decided to wear to the party as boys, and we were super drunk and super wasted. I think we were sitting on the rubbish bins at the back, and we started giving characters or personas to the women that would have bought the dresses when they were brand new off the shelf.
Right.
And the lady that owned my dress, her name was Karen, and she was a lonely middle-aged office woman, and she worked in finance.
Right.
And the more drunk we got, the more jokes we came up with, and she was fantastic. And then a few months later, I did drag for the first time. I went out to a party, and they said, "What's your name?" And I said, Karen from Finance. And it stuck. So here we are.
Now you're pretty well known in Australia. Like, what's your level of fame? Because we only know you from social media and our own obsession with your name.
Yeah, I'm not that famous at home at all. Apart from when the Drag Race girls get on like your show, or they get on their own World of Wonder shows, and they'll make a little mention. All the Drag Race fans at home go crazy. But otherwise, back home, I'm more known in like the fringe festival circuit and the cabaret world.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, you were telling me that you host a viewing of RuPaul's Drag Race.
Yep.
And that's been very popular. Yeah. And it was actually thanks to you that Australia is now getting the current Drag Race at the time that it airs?
That's right, yeah. So years ago, I think it was season 5. I had a screening party. We took a projector into my backyard. We lifted the garage door up and projected Drag Race onto the wall of the neighbor's backyard. And we had maybe 20 people in our backyard watching the show, and it just grew and grew and grew. And it got so big that I ended up having to move it to a pub. And there were 200-300 people coming every Tuesday night. Because at the time, Drag Race in Australia was aired only on like cable TV 6 weeks late.
Wow.
And so, we would download it on a Tuesday night.
Right, you would pirate that shit, get it right away.
Yeah, I'll admit it. And so we were playing at the pub, and we were having hundreds of people come, and it was so big. And then I think season 8, I was airing at the pub, and a blogger came and did a photo shoot that went national, and it was huge. And our cable company got in touch, and they threatened to sue.
Oh, honey.
I am not going down without a fight. So I fought it. I contacted everyone all over the world, and we managed to get get it fast tracked. So now we watch at the same time as you guys here.
Wow,
Yeah.
way to go. Now, when you say you contacted everyone around the world, who did you go? You're like, dear RuPaul.
Yes, that was one.
One of them?
Well, World of Wonder here, of
Right.
course. There's a distribution company in London that
Oh, so
had
you did it.
something
You
to do
went
with
deep
it.
into the notes.
I went right in.
Corporate style, just like Karen from finance would do.
I've got to use those 9 to 5 email hours somehow, right?
She wrote a memo, honey, and she sent it off.
It's exactly right, with my seal of approval.
So you're the champion. It's thanks to you that they're getting it right well.
Yes, and so as of that stage, all the Drag Race fans in Australia put me on a pedestal, and they're like, all right, she's all right, we like her now.
I feel pretty good.
We like her, yeah.
Now, how what do you think drag, like, this is your first time to the States or just the first time to LA?
I've been to the States before, but this is the first time
As Karen.
Karen from finance has come
Right.
Yeah.
What's the big difference between Australian drag and American drag?
Drag back home is a thing, but the community is so small, and like the club scene back home is so small. Like you're coming out in LA, we've got nothing like it. I've never seen anything like it, and so the queens, the diversity I think is a lot. The diversity of the queens back home is huge because there's hardly any queens doing it. So everyone has to be so different to stand out. If you've got a circle of 3 or 4 queens doing the exact same thing back home, there's not enough bookings for that.
Right.
So the diversity is amazing, but I feel like the competition isn't as strong. So you come over here and like the girls here are wild. They're out of control.
Oh, yes, honey.
The opportunities are real. And Drag Race here, I've noticed just from the last couple of days, Drag Race, I don't want to say affects, but maybe has this weird motivation that the girls back home don't have.
Right.
Yeah.
Because finally, you could start making real money.
Correct.
If you get on Drag Race, and that's something that didn't exist here even before.
Yeah, it's a real thing here, and it's not to say that doesn't exist back home, but it's very different. It's very different.
Who are some of the big Australian drag stars?
Well, of course, there's Courtney Act.
Courtney Act.
She's
yes.
probably our most famous at the moment. But one of her sisters, Dallas Delaforce, is a huge, huge personality to have come out of Australia. Then we go back to the days of like Dame Edna.
Right.
Dame Edna.
Dame Edna, one of the hottest new queens on the scene.
Yeah. But like the ones that are floating around still at home, goodness me. I mean, Vanity in Sydney's big with her girlfriends, Anaconda and whatnot. But we've got some really good subversive performers in Australia as well. I think the alternative underground network in Australia is really strong.
Do you want to shout out any new queens that we should know?
Oh, everyone needs to be watching Gender Mess, Blake Anderson over in Perth, and of course Ash Baroque over in Perth and Striker Meyer. The Perth scene is crazy. Perth is like the most isolated city in the entire world, and so those people are insane. They're crazy. It's like 3,000 kilometers before there's another town.
Wow.
So they just make up their own shit. They're crazy.
Perth, they're doing it.
Yeah,
hey,
you gotta look out for those kids.
All right. Now, have you been auditioning for Drag Race this whole time?
No.
Are you putting your tape in for season 10?
Okay, so we're not allowed to.
What?
They don't accept applications outside of.
So you have to move to West Hollywood, like caught in the act.
Yes, exactly. I have looked into getting a green card.
For that exact reason.
I did look into it. Yeah. So maybe if they decide to open it up sometime down the track, we'll be pretty keen.
All right.
My tape will be there.
I mean,
it'll be the first one in the mail.
It will be. I mean, you're from finance. She's gonna get it right together.
That's right.
Send, honey.
The stamps will be perfectly aligned in the corner. Should be good to go.
What are your thoughts on season 9? Are you liking it?
I love it. You know why I love it? Because the girls are so friendly. I mean, we all love the shade in Drag Race, but they're so friendly. I feel like this community of girls is really real, and it's really nice being on the journey with them. You know, it's they're your friends, they're your sisters. I'm really enjoying the season.
Any standouts?
Shea Coulee.
Shea Coulee.
Shea Coulee is my pick for number 1.
All right, yeah, she's slaying it.
She's got high fashion. She's hilarious. She's clever. I mean, that Kardashian. What did she? Black China.
Oh yeah, Black China. She gagged them all. What's a Karen from Finance show like? So, like, you say you do a lot of, like, fringe festivals and things. Like, do you do other drag characters, or what would we expect from a Karen from Finance show?
I always do Karen from Finance. You come and see a Karen from Finance spot number, and you're going to see one of the most over-edited pieces of performance you've ever seen. I'll get through 12 tracks in one number quite easily.
Yeah.
And I love to tell a story. Each one of my spot numbers generally will tell a story about a certain side of Karen's personality. So she might be getting fired from her job. She might be asking for money because she's poor. She might be trying yoga out for the first time. You never know.
Right. I love it.
You never know.
What do you have planned for DragCon?
Oh, I've got. I'm setting up an office in a booth in the convention center, and everyone is welcome to come in and take 5 with Karen from Finance.
Oh my God, Karen, I love that.
Yes.
Oh my God. So, what are your big dreams for Karen from Finance? Will she ever get ahead? Do we have to call HR? What's going on?
My dream for Karen from Finance is to get a corner office with a window. No, but I'm really keen on writing a little bit of theatre. I would love to do a one-woman show. I've started working on it. I'd love it to be ready by the end of the year, but probably not next year. But I'd love to just get shows together and work through like the cabaret circuit.
Sounds good.
That's what I like.
I love it. Well, I'm sure the Laurie Beachman Theater here in New York City will welcome you with open arms, honey.
I'm going to go knocking on their door in a few weeks.
Spin Cycle, hello. Do you have a message for Trixie and Katya, who I think may be your biggest champions? Give it right to that camera.
My message to Trixie and Katya. My message to... Oh my goodness. All right, let me think for 2 seconds. My message to Trixie and Katya, straighten yourselves out. No, I'm going to do that again. Oh God, I really should have a message for Trixie and Katya. Trixie and Katya, you're so psychotic. Never stop. Never stop. Un needs to be going until you're 90 years old.
Love Karen from Finance. Karen, thank you for being here, honey.
Thank you for having me.
So much
been
fun.
Such a pleasure.
I'm so glad to meet you in the flesh, and I'm looking forward to seeing you at DragCon. I will be visiting your office with a camera crew, okay?
I'll see you there. Bring me some donuts.
All right, give it up for Karen from Finance, everybody! And this has been a very special Karen from Finance edition of Hey Qween One-on-One. G'day, Karen!
G'day, mate.